Well, hello, hello. How is everybody in this afternoon, March 17? And wow, we're already at 3 months ahead of the new year. And today we had an amazing program of chat with three superheroes, friends that we are gonna able to um, make them talk about their experiences with epigenetics. And when I say epigenetics, I know that epigenetics is the newest science that is leading a new technology that is helping the body to recover faster of any type of maybe health issue that you can be struggling with it. The epigenetics it calls it is personalized, that it works or it will find you where you are. Everybody is in different physical and health conditions, depends of the lifestyle, but the benefits of the epigenetic supplementation that is gonna go to the rescue and is gonna find you and whatever are in uh, in your condition. And I'm gonna left to my three guesses to introduce themselves and very fast. Who are they? When they join Actis or this company, and then we will go from there. Thank you for being here with me today. Let's go start with Tanya.
Um, I joined Actives in 2019. That's when I was introduced by two actives from Jerry. And what were all the questions again?
No, when did you you answered correctly. That's
Oh,
what
okay.
First one was easier. It was always your name.
Yes. Oh. So I'm Tanya Van Dyke. I joined Actives in 2019 when I was introduced to it by Jerry Scribner.
Okay, Nova.
My name is Nova. I am from the Philippines, and I discovered Actives through Jerry also in 2024, late part of 2024. Yeah, so last year.
Last year.
Yes, December.
Okay. And Jerry.
So I'm Jerry Scribner, and I actually joined Actives in the first part of 2018, before we actually launched Actives in the US. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's go with the one that has more years. Actis. See, now you are gonna be in shock. No, it's not Tanya. All right, Jerry. So tell us um, three of the reasons that you enjoy Actis.
So it's interesting because when I was introduced to Actives, I was not looking for an opportunity. As a matter of fact, I was kind of in a point where I was thinking I needed a break from the network marketing industry for a while. And a very close friend of mine called me up and we were talking, and she said, "Hey, by the way, there's this company." And my real reaction was just, oh, not again, right?
Not
um,
another.
right. And it's kind of become a common theme, people at Actives is that's kind of a reaction. But then when they learn about what we have and what we have our hands on and the culture of the company, a lot of people, decide in the end to join us. So three things that really caught my attention. So in that very first phone call, the friend of mine that called me mentioned two names and a product. And the two names were Ryan Thompson and David Brown. And the product was one of the products we're going to talk a little bit about today, Genomics, which is the next generation product of the same developer who had developed a product at a previous company David and Ryan and I had been at together. So those are the three reasons why, really that made a difference for me is um, I knew the product and what it could do to help people in their health, but I also know Ryan and David and the integrity they have. And to me, I think knowing that those two gentlemen had put together a company was much more important than any product, because I know what they bring to the table from experience, from integrity, from what their beliefs are in helping people like the four of us become successful. And so I knew everything else was gonna be really good, and it
You,
has been.
men- you mentioned something that you start taking Genomics,
Mhm.
but before you take the previous formula of Dr. Joe McCord that he developed was now probably it's going to be 15 years ago because before it was
Mhm.
10, now that's probably
Right.
15 years ago. So, if somebody that is hearing you now and say, "Well, I still taking the first formula that Dr. Joe McCord created, so I am good. I don't need your new formula." What do you would say to this person?
I think so. I for one, at the previous company, I actually didn't really have a product testimony of really any significance until I came to Actives and started taking the products here. And that's not just with the previous company. That's I have friends of mine that are at other companies. I've tried products because I'm looking for something, and I'd rather support a friend of mine in their business than buy something at a store. But I haven't had any products. So this would be one thing. I haven't had any products, um, product story testimonial for myself until I started taking the product here, and that includes genomics and comparing it to that product we were taking at that previous company. The other thing is if the person that's behind the product is Dr. Joe McCord, right? We all know, and if you look at just his research, so if you just want to look at the science or have your own experience, his own research shows when he compared the two that the genomics that we have here is 10 times more effective than that previous product.
And also another example or compare can be also like compare like the iPhones, right? What is
Mhm.
the iPhone now? The iPhone of 5, 10 years ago, which and every year they're coming with a new iPhone version, and everybody
Mhm.
wants the new version because it has more features.
Mhm.
So I would say that probably is how we can compare with this new product, Genomex, that it has more benefits, more faster
Mhm.
than the previous one. Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Absolutely.
What about you, Tanya?
Mhm.
Tell me three things that why you enjoy Actis.
Well, like Jerry, I actually told Jerry no. So when I joined in 2019, I was just a product user. Um, but the products were so wonderful, and the effects that I was having and how I felt so amazing that I kept sharing these products. And for those that don't know, I'm neighbors with Jerry. So literally almost every day I was running over with cash going, hey, I sold another Optimend. I sold another trifecta because I kept going, oh, you have aches and pains? Try this, try this. But I have been in network marketing for 30 years. And with the last company that I was with, when they redid their comp plan, I lost my business overnight. I didn't have faith in network marketing. I kind of had lost it. And so I didn't want to join another business. But when he shared the product, I knew I needed the product. And then he had a David Brown, the CEO, and Dr. Was it Larry Miller? Or
At
Larry?
the time, yep.
Yes, came to Jerry's house and did a presentation and explained, Dr. Miller went in depth about the products, and then David Brown went over the company. And once I met David, I knew I was hooked. He just reeled me right on into the company. Because he answered all my questions. He let me know what the company has in place, so something that happened to my last company will not happen here. And so that really reassured me. renewed my faith in network marketing. And I knew that I had my hands on some great products. And Jerry finally said, I just can't keep up with you. Because he couldn't order fast enough for the demand that I was throwing at him. Because every day I would be like, here's some more money. Here's some more money. I sold some more. I sold some more. And he's like, stop.
Wow.
But it's the products that really attracted me to actives. It was corporate when I met the CEO and one of the doctors that really brought me into this company. The comp plan is a lot different than the other two network marketing companies I had been with. So that's what really keeps me here, plus the new friendships I've made. But again, it comes back to, that comp plan and these products and how I can change people's lives, because this technology is so new on the market and it really, really works. And I just want to share it with everybody.
Thank you. What are you, Nova? I know that Jerry is the one that, okay, come here, Nova. But, and why you decide, because I know you are from the Philippines. One of my people doesn't know, but I know that you are from the Philippines. There is a market that is full of a lot of network marketing companies. And I'm pretty sure that for what you shared the other day when you are with us, um, you already had experience in this type of business, but now you are here with us.
I was kind of at a crossroad when I met Jerry. I didn't know. I was I was looking for something at the time that I met Jerry, and I thought it was just the perfect time. I didn't know at that time that it would lead me to something like what I have now here in the Philippines. But um, I believe in supplementation. I didn't in the past, but I encountered a supplement that really, really helped me with my health. I was diabetic, I had arthritis, I had depression, and I had anxiety. And supplementation helped me. And so now I am a believer of supplementation. And when Jerry presented the the product lines of actives, I thought this sounds very intriguing. I did a little bit of digging, research a little bit, and the great thing about technology is everything's at the in your fingertips. And I read a little, and I thought, and then Jerry showed me some results, and I thought, oh, this is something that maybe I can use. Plus, the price point made a lot of sense for somebody like me who lives in a developing country. So I took it, but before I took it, I had some pains in my fingers because I say sometimes I look like I'm 25, but I'm really pushing 50. I had pains in my joints in my fingers, and then at one point I had trigger finger. You know what trigger finger is like. It's really painful, and when your finger is one position and you move it, it's really, really painful. And so I asked a friend, and she said, my doctor recommended turmeric. I said, isn't that what we have already? And so I took it, and I can tell you, my fingers don't hurt anymore, especially in the morning when I wake up, and then the trigger finger is gone. Uh, and all I did was take the trifecta, right? And I also take Aero and Nitrox Pro. So far, it's working for me. My husband loves it because he's got some case of. Am I supposed to say that on Facebook? But he had some issues that he had some pains, and he took the trifecta, and he's like a believer. He never really believed so much in network marketing in the past, but when he took the trifecta, he said, "I want to sign up." So now he's part of he signed up right after the results that he had.
So he's seeing the benefits. His body is
Yeah.
absorbing the epigenetic supplementation.
Yep. Yes.
And how long he's been with them
With actives, taking it.
taking it?
We started. We ordered in November. It got to us in December. I remember very well. December 22nd was when I started taking it. He started taking in last part of January, but
And,
he's hooked.
and you mentioned you was dealing with diabetes.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with diabetes at 25. It was very bad diabetes, and before I did the supplementation, I thought I'm not going to get to this place, to this age. My doctors were telling me at 45 I'd have dialysis, my creatinine levels are off the charts. All my everything is off the charts. Right now my creatinine level is normal, and I want to keep it that way. So I'm really thinking about a lifestyle change, because just supplementation won't cut it. You really have to take care of yourself, be a little bit more active, and eat with, you know, don't let yourself go.
Yeah,
But I know it's easier said than done. But with the help of supplementation, we can really, and epigenetic supplementation, we can really take control of our health.
and to do the correct changes also and the lifestyle. But I'm thinking, you had barely less than 4 months taking them, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I cannot imagine you and another year in March how your health is going to be better and better than already.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy for you. And Tanya, what is your testimony of health that you've been seeing with active supplementation?
Well, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I had hypothyroidism, and being estrogen dominant, it just, the regular prescription thyroid medication wasn't working. So they put me on a natural thyroid medication, and it helped some. But it was in October of last year when I roomed with you and we were discussing Hashimoto's, and you told me that I needed to take another, to add another genomics to my supplementation. And so I then started doing that as soon as you and I had that discussion again at the Actives Convention in October.
So,
And in January, I had my blood work done again for my thyroid, and I no longer carry the Hashimoto's. I still have a little hypothyroidism, but I have my body has healed itself from Hashimoto's, and the doctor said now, I they were really worried. They thought I was going to end up with thyroid cancer and have to have it removed. That's how bad my numbers were getting. Um, and so the only thing I did was up that genomics by one pill, because of what you had learned in your group with the doctors, and I no longer have Hashimoto's. Blood
um,
work doesn't lie.
mm,
Um, so I take the trifecta, I take Arrow, I take the Nitrox Pro. Um, I really loved it because, as we get into menopause, it can raise our blood sugars naturally.
mm,
And so my doctors, my wellness function providers, like, I need to, I want you to record your blood sugars every day. I need to watch this. I need to watch that. So I have my blood sugars and my ketones. And so what I found really interesting is, I had taken my Arrow and everything before I did my blood work. But I thought, everybody's like, it's but a metabolic, activator, blah, 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 blah. So I took my blood work, and then I took it 30 minutes after I drank, and my ketones went up 1 point. So in 30 minutes, my blood work showed that my metabolism was ramping up due to drinking Arrow. So I was very excited about that. Um,
mm.
but and then I also had shoulder surgery, and Optimin has been a game changer for me. Being a natural anti-inflammatory, my stomach doesn't do well with NSAIDs, so I don't, the ibuprofen, the Aleve, all that really is hard on my stomach. And I don't feel well if I take it. And so having Optimend as an option to decrease the inflammation in my body naturally has been a humongous game changer. And that, I love that product. And that's one of the things my husband asked me. He said, why did you choose that Actives was going to be the company that we were going to go with? Because, we were being approached by lots of people and lots of new companies. And I said, can you live a day without Optimum? And he had to stop and think about that. And he goes, no, I couldn't live a day without Optimum. And I said, me either. I said, I can't live a day without these products. So therefore, this is my home. This is where I'm going to be because these products are too impactful. But I said, Optimum, I was only supposed to get not even quite 50% of the range of motion in my shoulder back due to the damage that I had done. But because I was able with Optimum to take down the inflammation, I have like 98% of range of motion back in my shoulder. And so, I don't have to worry about it being weak or breaking again. So I'm so thankful that Jerry finally took him over a year and a half, but hey, he finally shared.
You say your husband cannot live without Optima. Can you share a little bit why he's been taking it, and also can you mention short what is the components of the formula of Optimate, please?
Yes. So Optimum has two ingredients. It is tetrahydrocurcumin, which is turmeric broken down to the bioavailability that our body can use. It's just a smaller molecule version of turmeric. And then it's boswellia, which is Indian frankincense. And the two of them are both extremely good natural anti-inflammatories, but together they're even better and more potent. So it works more effectively. And we have a special binding around these products that get them safely through the stomach and into the lower intestine, so your body can use it right away, which sets us apart from a lot of other companies. And so turmeric, my husband has a lot of lower back issues that kind of are hereditary. And so for him, sometimes getting up and being able to stand upright was very, very hard and was getting harder and harder. And we thought, his dad had like 8 back surgeries. And so we thought, oh no, do you have this degenerative issue as your dad does? And you're, going to end up having surgery. But once he started taking Optimend, that's not an issue for him anymore. He can get out of bed and, he, at one point it would take him to get out of bed and get completely down the hall into the kitchen and go before he could stand upright. I mean, he was literally hunched over halfway. And then now that he's taking Optimend, he just gets out of bed and goes. And, he doesn't take anything else other than the trifecta. And so the genomics link and Optimend, he doesn't take anything different. But before Optimend, he couldn't get out of bed and stand straight. It'd take him at least 20 minutes, like to get warmed up and going or something, it was really making him look a lot older than he is. And so, thanks to Optimend, we are over 50, and we, but when we work out, we still feel and act like we're in our 20s. And so if it wasn't for Optimend, I couldn't do that. And neither one of us could. So
and combine now with Nitrox Pro. Wow.
Yes, it has made huge improvements in our workout capability and our recovery. After we work out, it would take us 2 or 3 days just on the trifecta to like be able to do that hard of a workout again. But now, you know, we could do it within 48 hours and within 24 hours. I mean, you know, you kind of worked that muscle group. It's a little bit sore, but not like it was. It's not significant. I
Great.
recover really fast. So it's amazing.
All right. Thank you, Tanya. And let's go with the gentleman so Jerry doesn't feel like left out. Nah, just kidding. Go ahead, Jerry.
So, what the question was, product and testimony, right? So, you know, I this is a hard question because, like I said earlier, I've never had personal product testimonies before. Certainly not as impactful as what I've experienced here at Actives. And one of the things I mean when I say that is, I have a significant product experience for each product that we have. Right? So it's not just one or two, it's every product that we have. I have a uniquely, distinctly different experience. And so I would have to say personally, I mean, Optimens, just as we get older, I've had some very significant experiences with those. You know, a couple of years ago, a neighbor of mine, two neighbors of mine, and I were cutting down a tree in my backyard. And by the time we got done cutting down the tree at the end of the day, I could not take my right arm and do this because my shoulder hurts. And so I came in the house, and it was probably 4 o'clock that night, and I took, I think, 2 or 3 additional Optimen. And that's one thing I love about it, right? Is it's a daily anti-inflammatory to help with that chronic inflammation that causes so many other things. But I also call it I call it an as needed. So when I do something that's much younger than my body really is, I can go to Optimend and take a few extra, right? And it was literally, you know, that's something that I had experience with before, and that's something that would have taken me a week to get fully recovered from in the past. And you know, I would say by the time I went to bed that night at maybe 10 o'clock, my shoulder had recovered 80%. And then by, you know, I got up the next morning, I took a few extra on top of my regular dose of Optimend with the trifecta. And by noon, it was like it never happened. So within, you know, a 16-hour period, I had gone from not being able to do this to like I never did anything to hurt my shoulder. So that would be one thing. But I think for me, really the bigger things that I have had happen is one with Arrow. You know, something I struggled with my entire life from what I remember, is weight. And, you know, it was a few years ago where, you know, we got Arrow introduced maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I just added it to my routine. And I didn't do anything really crazy as far as changing my routine from diet, from working out, from anything like that perspective. I just added Arrow, and I lost about 20 pounds in about close to a 3-month period. And that's something that's pretty significant for me. Because like I said, it's, you know, weight is something I've just struggled with my whole life. However, if I had to pick one thing, Link, you know, starting about 2018 up until about 2021 was a pretty rough stretch for me. You know, I had a number of personal, pretty major life events happen. I lost both my parents in that time period. I lost a friend of mine that I was in the military with. He took his own life. Yeah, my wife's brother passed away. So there was just a lot that happened. And on top of that, this world event called COVID was going on, which, you know, pretty traumatic for most people around the world. And you're just kind of living in this environment of elevated stress, right? So anyway, what happened is I found myself at the end of, you know, fall of 2022 with very severe depression. And I had never personally experienced that before. I'll tell you something, it's horrible. It's a very helpless feeling. Um, and it was just that environment where trying as hard as I could, doing all the things that I knew I was supposed to be doing, eating right, getting outside, exercise, right, motivational stuff, all these kind of things. And it was just like the harder I tried, the harder it got. Um, until I reached a point where I got tired of trying, which is a very bad. And what happened is a friend of mine called me up who had for a different reason, some very impressive results with Link. And he asked me a question, and it was, has Active changed the formulation of Link? And of course they hadn't. But that just kind of got my mind going and got me thinking, because as I learned about gut health, I also learned about the gut brain connection. And it was just something until that phone call didn't click my engineering brain. And I just said, I wonder. And so that day, anyways, I was going to say, you start learning about the brain gut connection. And when you're under a lot of stress for a long period of time, your gut health gets really bad. It's your immune system gets beat down, your mentally, physically, emotionally, right? But it really impacts your gut health, right? So we have this product called Link, right? That's very, very powerful at helping to heal your gut. And so I increased my dosage. I actually tripled the dose. And I have to say, it was probably about 4 days later. And sometimes I've noticed that seems to be something magical about the 4-day mark with these products. Sometimes I hear people say that a lot. But it was about 4 days later, I got up and I actually had a thought that I hadn't had in probably a year and a half. And that thought was, today's going to be a good day. And it was on the 5th day, it was like somebody just lifted this weight off of me, and I could see a way that I could move forward. That is probably, for me personally, the most biggest change in my life that's had. And of course, I mean, I'm an engineer by trade and training, and so I went through a series of tests on my own with Link and playing with the dosage and proving to myself that it was the one thing I was changing was the amount of that product I was taking, and every time I got the same result. And it's really crazy, right? Because when you take something, you can feel your emotional state, you feel your mental state get better, and it's almost a physical, right, feeling. And I still do it to this day. Sometimes you get a little down in the dumps, you get a little whatever, right, and you can. It's a nice boost to help with the mental state.
I want to say thank you, Jerry, for sharing something that I feel is very, very personally. Sometimes people doesn't want to, especially when it's talking about depression. A lot of people, they don't want to share those feelings, right? I went into depression as well when I was going into menopause. I mean, it's not like I'm going to COVID, I'm going to menopause, so it's
Right.
nothing I can escape. As
Right.
my hormones goes to all place, and I start experiencing depression.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. However, when I start taking Link, that fix it right away in less than 30 days.
Yeah.
However, I wanted that you mention us what is this formula Link that you are talking about that was able to help the gut and the brain connection. So what is this Link created or made it for?
Okay. So the main ingredient in Link is something called butyric acid. And so butyric acid is a short chain fatty acid that's naturally produced in our gut. And like most things, one of the challenges with it is as we age, our body tends to produce less, or sometimes it's not the amount that our body's producing, it's the environment, right? Sometimes when you're dealing, again, when you're living under a lot of stress, that can really impact the production of your butyric acid. Or if your diet, Tanya and I know somebody that that's a challenge, right? I mean, the supplements are only going to do so much, and Nova touched on it. You have to change your lifestyle, right? But so anyway, and really the main purpose of the butyric acid is to keep the lining of the gut healthy. right, which enables so many other things, and to heal that gut brain connection, which impacts many, many things. Now, one of the downsides to butyric acid is the smell and taste. I remember one of the doctors on our advisory board early on, Dr. Earl. We were at a fly-in, and he was doing a presentation about butyric acid, and he mentioned the kind of the downside that can come from butyric acid is the smell and taste can be like vomit. And his comment was funny. He's kind of a funny guy, and he said, no matter how good it is, it's really going to be really, really hard to sell vomit pills, right? And he's right. And one of the nice things about what we have here is the person that developed the product Link also developed the technology that Tanya touched on when she talked about Optimen, which helps encapsulate the Link, and so it survives the stomach environment and it gets into our small intestines and colon and is released at the right place at the right time. One of the unexpected benefits of that is it masks the smell and taste of the butyric acid. And I think something really cool about that is another doctor, Dr. Joe McCord, talks about that. And he said researchers have been trying to figure out for decades how to make butyric acid palatable for people. And the company that can find a way to mask the smell and taste will have the holy grail of supplementation on their hands, because butyric acid is so foundational to our health and to our body and how we function that it's really critical.
So that Dr. Joe Maroon, talking about the butyric acid is the holy ground of foundation
Mm-hmm.
our daily diets. So that means, Tanya, that is there a safe for children? Are they needed?
Children need these products as well because, they're exposed to a lot of environmental stress as well. My 6-year-old nephew, he's been actually taking these products for several years. And what Jerry touched on with, his depression and his behavior, I didn't realize how much of my cousin likes to call it a mood stabilizer. She ran out of a bottle of Link, and she's going through menopause, and her order, she travels a lot for work. So her order was in transit trying to find her. And she said, I'm having all these emotions. Sometimes I want to cry. Sometimes I want to, kill someone. Sometimes I just want to, she goes, I don't know what's wrong with me. And then when her products arrived and she started taking her Link again, she was like, oh, well, what we didn't realize is my 6-year-old nephew, his parents are divorced. And so dad has custody. But dad works 4 days a week and he's gone 12 hours a day. So he stays with me for 4 days a week. Well, 4 days a week, I give him the trifecta. Then 3 days a week, he wasn't getting the trifecta. And so by the time he was getting back to me, he was like cranky and grouchy. And we were all like, and, the teachers were commenting that, there was like a difference in his behavior. Like the beginning of the week, he's not, he was cranky and tired. And by the end of the week, he was back to being his normal, happy little self. And then we realized that being off of the products for a few days was throwing his poor little system off. And so his dad gets him the trifecta now. And so he calls them his pills. So he takes his pills every day. He's got to have his pills because at 6, he doesn't understand what epigenetics is. He doesn't understand what it's doing for his body. But what he does understand is he feels good. And that he doesn't, he has allergies so bad that it causes him, if he's not on allergy medicine or anything like that, he gets the croup cough. And he will have the croup 3 weeks out of 4 during the summertime because of allergies. Well, when he's on these products and he's on his pills, he does not get the croup cough. Um, and so he knows that if he doesn't take it, he doesn't feel good. And so I know that you have a young grandson, and but the beauty of the technology that we have that encapsulates everything is that the younger they are, you can open up the capsules and put them in applesauce, pudding, anything that they will eat. So, if he's sick and he's, like when he was not well, I put it in so he could just easily drink something, a little bit of juice, and then he took his pills that way. And so, but to get it into his system, it's made a huge difference in his health. His pediatrician realized, hey, we went from, needing to send him to an allergist for potential injections, which I knew would be hard on his poor little liver and kidneys. And then to we don't need it anymore.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel like we all know that the part in the gut that does all the work of break down the nutrition is our bacteria. And
Right.
for the bacteria to be strong and powerful to do all that work is to have butyric acid, and it doesn't have it as we eating fiber. It's gonna be lacking. We are gonna have a very weak bacteria of microbiota, right? And
Microbiome. Mhm.
microbiome. So that means that saying that's why it's so essential for everybody to have that production of butyric acid. However, because we are lacking in production, because first of all, we never hear about it. The fiber and the vegetables that we ate are controlled by pesticides, chemicals, overprocessed. So now when we ate it, it's like eating something empty that doesn't have any nutrition. So now the poor bacteria like crying like, what the heck? And now you want me to do all this nutrition. So now we are in trouble, and is why people guess is trying to eat the correct things, but they still getting sick. And that's
Right.
why here the supplementation comes to the rescue to fulfill the lack of nutrition, especially for the bacteria, right? Um, I think we lost Nova. Oh no, let me bring her back. I think she lost connection. Um, yes, Nova, I was going to ask you, even that you had just no long time with us, uh, but you're already sharing this amazing supplementation and business opportunity in your country. What are the things that maybe you hear about the people that already start taking the products over there?
Okay. Well, I've been sharing and sharing away. um, l- the other week, I was invited to talk to a group of teachers and parents for children with special needs. And we found that Link is very helpful for people dealing with, you know, not just mental issues, but this what do they call them when you're born with it, like autism, for example. And we found that there's no cure for autism. There's therapies and whatnot, but really there's no cure for it yet. But we have found that with Link, uh, there's an overwhelming studies around what heals the gut, heals the brain, and they're even calling the gut the second brain. And so we're sharing that with special ed teachers, and we're getting a lot of feedback about how families want to see give their children a fighting chance at life. And right now there's nothing that they're kind of holding on to. And so that information is something that we are sharing with everybody. We also have some people who are talking about chronic kidney disease, renal failure is very prevalent in the Philippines. Our National Kidney Institute says that every hour, one Filipino is diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. And I looked up what's going on in the United States. The statistics in the United States is that 1 in every 7 American has chronic kidney disease or has it but doesn't know that they got it. So I think when I talk to people, I wanna tell them that they don't have to wait until they're very sick to take the supplements. The best time to take the supplement is now, when the body is still not feeling the brunt of whatever it is, because we don't know what's inside. We don't know what's going on inside the body. And so the thing to do is to prevent it, not to not to cure it when it's already there. And as new as we are here in the Philippines, we're getting a lot of people to take it. Mostly, Optimend is quite a crowd favorite here. So because it
Yes.
works quick, not many people realize this, but when you take supplementation for like turmeric, for example, that's for pain and for inflammation and all that. What we're eating or what we're drinking is a form of turmeric that's not readily available for the body. So the body has to process it. So you don't feel pain relief as quickly as you'd want to feel it. But what we have in Optimint is a form of turmeric that's bioavailable right away. So it's called tetrahydrocurcumin. And when you take it, that's why when you take Optimint, you get an almost immediate feedback. You won't have to wait for weeks. You only have to wait for a few minutes, and but you don't have to take my word for it. The best thing is to take it yourself for all aches and pains.
Jerry, she was mentioned that in the Philippines they are dealing with renal disease.
Mhm.
How is there are supplements and a special maybe zinc? Yeah, the trifecta. If you can give us in a very short resume why those three elements are being working with nitrox also with working for this disease.
Um, I don't. What I'd like to do is share a testimony that I
Okay.
have around it. I'm kind of still looking into why specifically it helps so much with renal disease. But there's a very good friend of mine who also happens to be our CEO, David Brown, who a few weeks ago during one of our company calls shared a story about his dad. And when I heard that story, it was just so profound to me um, that I'd actually just like to share it here. And so basically, what it is David's dad is 92. He was first diagnosed with kidney disease about 10 years ago. And it was about 7 years ago his kidney disease had progressed to stage 4. And I guess at that time, the doctors told him that he could expect to start dialysis in about a year. And so David got his dad taking the trifecta at that time. And I think David said during the call, while there's, of course, it's while things have continued to get a little bit worse, he still hasn't gotten on dialysis. So, 7 years after he was told that he would be on dialysis within a year, he's still not on dialysis. And I think those kind of things are pretty profound um, when it comes to this. That says quite a bit about these products. Uh,
Yes. Mhm.
and one thing, if you don't mind, about going back to depression, I would just like to really express that, having personally experienced what I went through. If there's anybody out there that knows somebody with depression, is experiencing depression, please check out what we're saying. Please reach out, because I know how alone people can feel, how difficult it can be to reach out when you're just looking for an answer. Please reach out to somebody and get more information about what we're talking about.
Yes, and basically, what I feel, uh, the secret weapon of the epigenetic supplementation is that goes to the root of what has been initiating any type of illness or disease, can be mental or gut or whatever issue, by reducing the inflammation or controlling the inflammation that we know is the silent killer. That
Right.
all disease start with this internal inflammation, and then is we're able to reduce the stress, the oxidative stress that's created, and it's going to link to like 250 or 300 macro degenerations disease that we're
Right.
able to help that with genomics, and then we're able to fix the bacteria through
Mhm.
the butyric acid, probably does, and um, waking up the component on nitric oxide again, what does what I believe we are covering the four pillars of the foundation for us to having great health. And maybe to close that, because I know that we're running on time, out of time. Tanya, can you tell us a little bit about what is nitric oxide, and or maybe Nitrox Pro, our supplement is the newest, and you talk about how you're helping it with arrow to recover faster.
Well, nitric oxide is wonderful. It helps dilate our uh, blood vessels, and so blood flows more freely and faster through our bodies. And that is wonderful because it gets more oxygen to your brain and to your muscles. It helps lower your blood pressure, and which is incredible. And it does it all. And our Nitrox Pro has 3 ingredients, and there's no caffeine or stimulants at all in it. The nitrates come from red beets, so that is the main ingredient in our Nitrox Pro. And so that's a fabulous, it's a great thing. And, anybody with cardiovascular issues, that's what nitrates helps fix as well. It really works on our cardiovascular system and our lymphatic system. So, one of the things that it does is that with the, increasing our blood flow of oxygen, it also gets the nutrients and other things into our, it has L-citrulline in it that is an amino acid. And so it gets all of those things to our body at a faster rate.
And saying that is bring more oxygen, more nutrition, is going to help also issues with all the problems with renal issues that you are talking about in the Philippines. And I think adding the trifecta with the nitro procs, people is going to see a faster recovery with this. Well, I just last 2 or 3 words individually, where they can find you, and what do you want to say for somebody that's hearing? Well, Jerry kind of already say it, um, and it was very good. But Jerry, you want to say something else, and where they can find you?
Yeah, so I actually live here in the U.S. in Oregon. If you're looking to do something for your health, if you're looking for something on the side, a business, whatever, make sure you check us out. Make sure you look at Actives, because it's we're doing something different here. We're doing something with the science that different, and we have technologies that really set us apart from other people in the same market space. Um, as far as the business, I was thinking about this. The other part of that testimony is my very first paycheck at Actives was more than my total combined income from all of my previous years in network marketing. So that
Yay!
alone is a testimony for me for this company and what our compensation plan can do for you. So
All right, Nova.
I just want to say that with actives, I don't feel very fearful about growing old anymore. I didn't, you know how it is. I don't want to look like a prune in the future. So I feel like the epigenetics, the science of epigenetics, is giving me that. And we obviously would want to help people with it, people who are struggling with their health, people who are struggling with their, what we say in the Philippines, if they have cancers in their wallets, we can help them out. So this is not just not just for the actual health, but I like this. Just one thing, I like this saying: in life we play two games, the game of health and the game of wealth. If we lose in one, we lose in the other. In actives, we want to take care of both, and I think based on Jerry's sharing, actives is doing that, just that for everybody.
Yeah, Tanya.
Well, they do say that health is your wealth, because if you don't have your health, you really don't have anything. You can have money, but if you don't have health, then it's not a win-win. So at least with actives, you get both. You get your health, and we can help fix your wealth. So, you can find all of us on social media. You can find us through actives, WhatsApp. We are out there to be able to reach.
TikTok. Yep.
Yep.
TikTok. Yeah. Well,
It's, yep.
Instagram, yes, all and everything in social media. Well, you hear it. Well, I just gonna say thank you guys. I think we did a fantastic job, like Jerry say all the time. And I know that we are gonna come back again. For now, right now, everybody have a great evening, and we are gonna go to a business presentation and soon. Okay,
Mhm.
bye guys.
Right. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Good night.